Hi everyone, and welcome back to Warren's Team Talk. I hope that you're all well and having a great day. And thank you very much for joining me this afternoon. Well, if you're in England, it's this afternoon. Otherwise, yeah, good morning or good evening or whatever it is, wherever you are. I'd like to wish you a very, very warm welcome to the channel. And if you're new, I'd like to give you a especially warm welcome. So I hope that you're going to enjoy what I've got for you today. Something weird's just cropped up on the screen, people. I'm just going to do what it's asking me to do and see what happens. But let me just bear with me a second. Okay, it's not really doing anything, but so yeah, that's a bit strange. Anyway, so like I say, I hope that you're all well and having a great day, like I say, and you're looking after each other. Anyway, so what we're doing today, we're going to talk about the FA Cup. Now, as you can probably see by looking at me, I'm not a young man anymore. I'm in my mid-50s, and when I was a kid, the FA Cup was massive, much more prestigious than it is today. I'm sorry to say, it was a huge thing, and particularly the FA Cup final itself. The FA Cup final would be a major event. So that's what we're going to do. What I'm doing is I got the Warren's Team Talk computer to pick a team at random, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to be following that team all the way through the competition until they get knocked out, or until they get to Wembley and win it even. You never know. But if they do get knocked out, I'll then take up the baton with that team and follow them on. And if they get knocked out, I'll then follow the team that knocks them out, and so on and so forth. So, yeah, that's how it's going to work. So, hi, James Dunlop's here. Always happy to see you, man. Thank you very much for all your support. I really do appreciate it. And James says, hi, Warren. I hope you're well. Yeah, I'm good, mate. Nice to see you. And I'm bored. I was going to say something else, but I better not. I'm bored silly, really, with this international break business. So I just thought I'd come on and do this. Had this idea to do this sort of the end of last week. And so I just thought, give it a go. And because I've done it before. Me and my mate Mick, we used to write a fanzine for Maidstone United years ago. And I think I remember we did something similar to this for the fanzine. So I might be wrong. I might be just dreaming it. But yeah, so the FA Cup. As I explained, what I'm going to do, I'm going to follow a team. The Warren's Team Talk computer has picked a team for me. And I'm going to follow that team until they get knocked out or until they go and win it. And then if they do get knocked out, I will then start following the team that knocked them out. And I'll keep continuing to do that until they get to the final. So it should be pretty cool, really. So what's so special about the FA Cup? Well, as I was saying earlier, when I was a kid, the FA Cup was massive. It really was. And still to this day, when it's FA Cup day, You know, even the first round, the qualifying rounds, I absolutely love it. I get really excited. It's just an amazing competition. It's the biggest and the best competition in world football, as far as I'm concerned. You know, you can see it's possible that a team like from a local village could end up going to the FA Cup final and bloody winning the thing. It's just unheard of. It wouldn't happen anywhere else. And it's just so exciting. And particularly if you follow a lower league club, the excitement of seeing your team play, against a team from the top tier of English football in their ground, where you never ever go and see them play before, or never have the opportunity to go. It's just amazing. It's so exciting. And the FA Cup is just very, very special. And for the players as well, they get to put themselves in the shop window. They get the opportunity to pit their wits against, and this goes for the coaches as well, get to pit their wits against some of the best players and coaches in the game and stuff. It's just amazing. James Dunlop's come in with another chat saying, I always love watching FA Cup. I'm in my 20s and I've seen clips of the competition in the past. The excitement, the drama and the giant killings are nothing but magical. Yeah, it is, mate. Honestly, I remember years ago when we got knocked out by Wrexham in the FA Cup third round. And that, it was really disappointing. The embarrassment of it was just unbelievable. It really was. And it was just mad. But that just sums up what the FA Cup's all about. It really does. It is just absolutely fantastic. And I'm going to do more content about the FA Cup and stuff, but this one is the one I'm focusing on at the moment. So I hope that it's going to be enjoyable for everyone. And then FA Cup final itself, I mean, years ago, it was one of only a handful of games that were ever screened live. I mean, screened live on TV, I'm talking about. And you would have, I remember one year, I think it was the 1977 FA Cup final. We moved house on Cup final day. Can you believe that? Moved house. My dad was sat in the back of the removal lorry, sitting there, cuddling the television so it didn't get damaged. And then when we got to the house, all the furniture, they emptied all the furniture into the house as quickly as possible. And then the TV got set up in the lounge. And there we all were sitting there watching the FA Cup final. Me, my dad, a couple of the neighbours and stuff like that. And that's what it was like. There was sandwiches, there was drinks, there was other snacks and whatnot. But the thing is, the FA Cup final day was magical. It would start like 10, 11 o'clock in the morning on the BBC and ITV. They'd be interviewing the players. They'd be interviewing the players' families. They'd have silly games going on. There was one, for a few years there, they had this thing called Cup Final Grandstand, which was brilliant. And Cup Final Grandstand, what am I talking about? Cup Final Mastermind. And they'd quiz players from both teams about the clubs and stuff like that to see who knew the best, most about their clubs. It was wild. It really was wild. And then they'd be interviewing the players on the coach as they were making their way to Wembley Stadium from their hotels. There'd be helicopters filming the coaches as they were driving to the stadium. It was just a madness. And, you know, think about now what happens when Arsenal get linked to a certain players. And people are tracking planes, automobiles, taxis and whatnot and stuff like that. They love all this carry on. They really wouldn't. I'm surprised that they haven't been employed to by the BBC or the ITV or whatever other TV company to be involved with the Cup Final Day coverage. And we've got another chat here from Taib. Taib Hussain says, "Hi Warren, how are you, mate?" Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Hope you're well, mate. We're just talking about the FA Cup. And then the actual in the actual ground, there was the communal singing of the Cup Final hymn, Abide With Me. Sorry, guys, I just get really emotional talking about this because it's really, really special for me this day. It always has been and it always will, but I just absolutely love it. And to see your team lifting the FA Cup trophy on Cup Final Day, it's just amazing. It really is. I just can't put it into words how special that is. It really is very, very special. And, you know, then there's the singing of the national anthem and there's the players get introduced to either members of the royal family or all this sort of carry on. The managers come out on the pitch with their players all dressed up in nice suits and stuff like that. And you don't get any of that anymore. I just think it's so sad. It really is. Like, it just all adds to the excitement. And you see players at the end of the games crying if they've won or they've lost because it means so much. And I had the pleasure of going to the FA Cup final in 1980 and I saw Arsenal lose by 1-0 against West Ham, and West Ham outplayed us, let's be honest. They really did. They battered us. We had a couple of opportunities to win it, but it would have been unfair. But then there's the walk down Wembley Way and mixing with the other supporters, never any trouble, bit of banter, which is great. It's just, honestly, I just can't tell you how much this day means to me. It's just incredible. James Dunlop says, "My dad always says to me he prefers the outside of the old Wembley and prefers the inside of the new Wembley." Yeah, I mean, I obviously, you know, living in the southeast of England, I had the good fortune to be able to go to Wembley quite a lot, well, particularly the old one, and I certainly agree with him about that. The old stadium, I mean, it's iconic. Those towers that are in that picture there, they were just, you'd be travelling up to the ground on the tube and you'd see the towers in the distance and it would give you a like tingling feeling in your stomach, and it was just incredible. It is, I can't put into words how special this is. It's unbelievable. And yeah, winning the league and all that is absolutely superb, but that day out at Wembley is just amazing. It really is. And Taib Hussain says, do you remember when Liverpool surrendered the 2-goal lead against Chelsea in the FA Cup finals in the 19 quarterfinals in 96-97? Can't remember what year it was now. 96 or 97. I can't remember what year it was now. Laugh out loud. I can't actually. I can't remember that. I remember them playing Crystal Palace in the FA Cup semi-final, Liverpool, and it was that I think they lost 4-3 against Palace in the semi-final, and it was a madness. It was one of the most dramatic games I think I've ever seen. It really was. So yeah, sorry Ty, but I can't remember that, mate. But yeah, we'll have a look into that, and I'll get back to you about it, mate. So yeah, that's me waxing lyrical about the magic of the FA Cup, because it is magical, in my opinion. It really is. And I've had the good fortune to have my photograph taken with the FA Cup a couple of times, and one occasion my daughter was with me and whatnot, and she loved it as well. And it's just magical. It's that, I mean, look at the thing. It's beautiful. It really is beautiful. So, moving on. So, the team that the Warren's Team Talk computer picked out for me was Bolton Wanderers. Now, Bolton Wanderers, they're currently playing in League One. They got promoted from League Two last season, I believe. And they've won the FA Cup on 4 occasions. And they had quite a successful spell with the FA Cup in the 1920s. In fact, they won it on 3 times in the 1920s. And in fact, it was every 3 years. So they won it 1923, 1926, 1929. And then they also won it in 1958 as well. So that's the team that I'm going to be following until they either win it or until they get knocked out. So let's see what's happened with Bolton, a little bit about their history with the FA Cup. So the first time they won it was 1923, the FA Cup final of 1923, which is famously known as the White Horse Final, and it's a really iconic FA Cup final and probably one of the most famous FA Cup finals in history. It was the first ever FA Cup final to be played at Wembley Stadium, and they defeated West Ham by 2-0 and in the cup final. And the 2 goals, the first goal was scored after 2 minutes by a guy called Jack. That's his family name, obviously. And just after 2 minutes. And then the second goal was scored by Jay Smith in the 53rd minute. Now, the reason this final was known as the White Horse Final, and if you look at that picture there, you can see the White Horse, was because there were so many people got into the stadium, into the ground, and they all spilled out onto the pitch. The White Horse was just trying to keep order in the ground, and that's why it's known as the White Horse Final. You can see it there. There's people in the goal mouth and all sorts. So to this day, I'm still baffled how they managed to get the game on, because there were so many people, and there was hundreds of thousands of people at this match. James Dunlop says Bolton have Stockport in a replay on Wednesday. Yeah, thanks very much, James. I was coming to that in a little while. Yeah, no, I know they do. Yeah, I'm going to be talking about that a bit later. So Taib Hussain says football has changed so much you don't feel that same level of nerves and excitement the way we did during the 90s. Absolutely, mate. I 100% agree with you. And to be honest with you, mate, I miss it. I really do. It's not the same anymore. Do you know what I mean? It's just, I don't know why that is, but it's, for me, it's not the same as it was. So yeah, that was the first FA Cup final, and Bolton won it by 2-0. And then their next triumph came in 1926, 3 years later, when they defeated Manchester City by 1-0. But this final went off with a lot less drama than what the one 3 years previously did. There was no white horses on the pitch, not hundreds of people storming the ground and stuff like that. And again, that Jack fella scored the winning goal. He scored in the 76th minute to win the trophy again for Bolton. And then Bolton then won it again in 1929 when they defeated Portsmouth by 2-0. And this time the goal scorers were Butler in the 79th minute for Bolton and Blackmore in the 87th minute. So, yeah. So they won, like I say, they won it 3 times in 9 years. And then their final FA Cup triumph, FA Cup victory, came in 1958 when they defeated Manchester United 2-0 at Wembley Stadium. Now, this, I think, I'm not 100% sure about this, but I think this is the final where Manchester United had to borrow loads of players from different clubs because of the Munich air disaster, and they still managed to get to a cup final. It's just incredible when you think about it. It really is. And Bolton won the game thanks to 2 goals from their legendary striker, Nat Lofthouse. He scored in the 3rd minute and the 50th minute to win the trophy for Bolton Wanderers. And if you speak to Bolton fans, he's an absolute legend in Bolton. They absolutely love him. He's probably their most famous ever player. And he's a legend on Bolton. Now, they've run us up on 3 occasions. The first time was in the 1903-04 season. Oh, sorry, not the first time. The second time was the 1903-04 season. They also were runners-up in the 1893-94 season, and then again, famously, in the 1952-53 season. Now, the reason the 1953 final is so famous was because of the scoreline. Blackpool won the game by 4-3, and also it's been dubbed as the Matthews Cup final because Stanley Matthews is one of English football's greatest ever players, and he was a winger, and his feet were magical. His dribbling skills were absolutely superb, and he was legendary. He really was. And again, he's another one who's got legendary status at their football club. And it was another reason it was dubbed as the Matthews Cup final was because he'd never ever won it as a player, and it was always the thing, oh, why has he never managed to win it, and all this carry on. And anyway, the game ended in a 4-3 victory for Blackpool. And as you can see by the times of the goal, at one point, Bolton were 3-1 up in the game. And then Blackpool pulled the game back to 3-3 in the last minute. And then they scored a winner in the 2nd minute of added time to take the trophy. So a really dramatic day, a really dramatic cup final and probably one of the most famous FA Cup finals ever, to be quite frank. So, yeah, that was the Matthews Cup final. So, what the hell is this? Sorry about this. I don't know what's going on here. Okay, so Taib says, Warren, in your opinion, what was the reason why Wenger's last three league title winning teams failed in Europe with the amount of quality they had at the time? That's a good question, mate. I think one of the reasons was tactics, because I believe, I don't know how true this is, but Wenger never really used to talk that much to the players about tactics. He used to just tell them to go out and play football and express themselves and enjoy themselves. But that was one reason. Another reason was because the year they went invincible, he was so obsessed about going the season unbeaten that they put so much effort into going the season unbeaten that it hampered their chances of, winning the FA Cup or winning the Champions League. So, yeah, that's why I think it was. And because I think if they hadn't have done that, yeah, they might have lost one or two games in the league that year. But I think they would have definitely won the Champions League. They drew the semi-final first leg that year away at Chelsea, 1-1, took them back to Highbury, then went 1-0 up, which meant we put us 2-1 up on aggregate in the tie. Then right near the end of the game, Chelsea equalised, and then they got a winner late on in the game, which meant we would have had to score, I think, 2 or 3 more to go through. So, yeah, but for me, the main reason was because we were far too open and a little bit tactically naive in our play. That's what I think. And James Dunlop says, what a player Stanley Matthews was. Yeah, he was, mate. I mean, he was absolutely superb. I mean, particularly his play on the wing, it was just absolutely phenomenal. And I think he played until he was about 53, something like that. It's just ridiculous. A man of that age still being able to play football at the top level. It's just madness. So, yeah, there you go. So Bolton have managed to get to the FA Cup semi-finals on 7 occasions. And most recently, they did it in 2010-11 season and the 1999-2000 season. So, as you can see, they've had quite a long tradition in the FA Cup, and especially during the 1920s and a couple of times in the 50s. So, yeah, they've got a good pedigree in the FA Cup. So, how Bolton doing this season? Well, they entered the FA Cup in the first round proper with the other teams in League One and League Two, I believe. And they're now currently sitting 10th in League One on 22 points. And they're 5 points behind Oxford United, who are the bottom place side in the playoff zone. So, but it's still early days, yeah. I mean, they've only played 17 games, but all the clubs around them have got a game or two in hand on them. But, yeah, so, hopefully they can make a push for promotion this year or do well in the FA Cup. So the first round draw came, and they got drawn against Stockport County, as James kindly pointed out earlier. And they played this game on Sunday, the 7th of November, and the game ended in a 2-2 draw. Now, Stockport, their history in the FA Cup is that the furthest they've ever got was the 5th round in 1934-35, 1949-50, and 2000-2001 season. And some of their other stats is their record FA Cup appearance holder is a guy by the name of Jack Tiger Bowles, who had 31 appearances between 1938 and 1951. The player who scored the most FA Cup goals for them is Jack Connor with 8, and Joe Foster. And that was Jack Connor did that between 1951 and 1956, and Joe Foster did it between 1897 and 1905. The first game in the FA Cup came against Halliwell Rovers on the 25th of October, 1892. Their record FA Cup home victory came against Wrexham in 1893 when they won 7-0. The record FA Cup home defeat came against West Bromwich Albion in 1935 when they lost 5-0 at home to the Baggies. And then their record FA Cup away win came when they defeated Kings Lynn 7-2 in 1912. So that's just some basic stats and facts about Stockport County. They're currently plying their trade in the National League. They used to be a Football League club, but they got relegated out of the Football League a few years ago now. And they're now applying their trade in the National League. They currently sit 10th in the National League, and are some 5 points behind Notts County, who are in the final playoff spot. And they entered the FA Cup in the 4th qualifying round. So let's see, where are we now? Let's see, I think there's another chat coming. So, James, yeah, we've read that one. And then Taib says, Warren, what's your favourite FA Cup goal? Alan Sunderland's goal in the 1979 FA Cup final, when Arsenal were winning the match by 2-0 against Manchester United. United scored 2 goals in a few minutes right near the end of the game. And then with a couple of minutes left on the clock and extra time looming, I think it was Liam Brady went down the left-hand side, fed Graham Rix. Graham Rix launched a cross into the penalty area, and Alan Sunderland slid in and put it in at the far post. Absolutely fantastic. Not because it was a particularly spectacular goal, but because of the fact that it meant so much, and it was the first time I'd ever seen my team win the FA Cup, and the look of pleasure on his face and the way he turned around and celebrated the goal just shows you how much it meant to him. It was amazing. And other than that, for spectacularism, I have to say Alexis Sanchez's goal against Aston Villa a few years ago when we beat them 4-0 in the FA Cup final. That goal was just unbelievable. He slapped it in, I think, from about 40 yards out, and he hit it like an absolute rocket. So, yeah, that's my answer to that one, mate. So, the head-to-head contest between the two clubs in the FA Cup. Hold on, let me just... Oh, there's another chat here from James. Good question, Ty. Mine is Dan Gosling's goal against Liverpool when we knocked them out in 2009. I know it sounds biased, but that night was electric and we got all the way to the final that year. You did, James, didn't you? I don't remember that game, but I can imagine that the atmosphere was absolutely wild when, like, it's bad enough, like a Merseyside derby at the best of times, but to have, an FA Cup tie riding on it as well, it must have just been through the roof. And Taib says, nice one, James. Yeah, excellent. Thank you, James, for sharing that. I bet the atmosphere in that ground that night was something else on it. So the head-to-head contest between the two clubs on the 15th of January 1910, Bolton lost by 4-1 to Stockport County. Then it would be another 37 years before they'd face each other again in the FA Cup. And on this occasion, Bolton defeated Stockport by 5-1. And then on the 16th of January 2002, nearly 55 years later, I believe, Stockport lost by 4-1 to Bolton Wanderers. And then most recently, a week ago, Bolton and Stockport drew 2-2 at Bolton's ground. So there you have it. Stockport have only ever beaten Bolton on one occasion in the FA Cup. So I'm sure they'll be chomping at the bit to see if they can knock them out on this occasion. So let's move on. So the first round last Sunday between Bolton and Stockport County ended in a 2-2 draw. Stockport took the lead in the 23rd minute through Scott Quigley. Then Eon Doyle equalised in the 33rd minute for Bolton. And then just 3 minutes later, Elias Kachunga put Bolton 2-1 up. And then in the second minute of added time at the end of the first half, Stockport equalised from Ben Whitfield, and there were no further goals for the rest of the game, which means that the tie is now going to a replay at Edgeley Park. So that will be taking place, as James quite rightly said, on the 17th of November, which should be a very tense night at Stockport, I would imagine, for all involved. And Taib says, Warren, you must have read about Wenger saying that he was thinking about leaving Arsenal in 2007. Personally, I think he was chatting crap. Mate, I completely agree with you, mate. I don't think he had any intention of going. I really don't. I mean, listen, he was on, what was it? Somewhere in the region of between 8.5 million and 11 million pound a year. Are you seriously telling me that if you or I were in that job, there's no way I'd walk away from it? I wouldn't. If they wanted me out, they would have to sack me. I ain't going to walk out on a payday like that. It's just crazy. No, mate, I completely agree with you. I don't believe that. Not for 5 minutes. I mean, I loved Wenger, particularly in the first part of his reign at the club. But then as time wore on and, and particularly when we went to the Emirates Stadium, I just think it overtook him, caught him up, whatever you want to say, and it just wasn't the same. I don't know what happened or why that is, but I think he should have gone. They should have got rid of him a lot earlier than what they did. That's for sure. But yeah, that's just my opinion about it. Great manager. I love the guy, and particularly the first half of his reign at Arsenal. But in the end, he had to go, and he stayed way too long, in my opinion. Okay, so the betting odds for this game next Sunday are that Stockport County to win the game are 12-5. Bolton to win the game are evens, and the draw is 12-5. So the bookies seem to think that Bolton are most likely to win the game. So I think it's going to be really close, tight affair, and I think it might be a really good match. So I'm going to see that night if I can find a stream to watch it, because I think it's going to be really exciting. I really do. But we'll see. So the second round draw took place, and let's see who both clubs drew in the next round. So whoever wins this game between Stockport and Bolton will... They've been drawn to place Rotherham United, and that game will be taking place at 3:00 on Saturday, the 4th of December. So that day, I will be adding them to the list of whoever wins that game between Bolton and Stockport. That game against Rotherham will be added to my Matchday Live coverage. So we'll be keeping a close eye on that tie to see what happens. So, yeah. So if Bolton win or Stockport win, whoever plays Rotherham, that game will be covered. And then whoever wins the tie between Rotherham and Bolton or Stockport will be the team that I'll be following moving forward from there. So let's see what happens with that. So, yeah, that's the end of my stream for today. Just to say, if you want to find out more about Bolton Wanderers, might be a good idea to tune into a YouTube channel by a young woman by the name of Stump Peg. She does excellent football content, not just about Bolton Wanderers, but all sorts of different clubs. And her videos are absolutely superb. She's really quality. Her work is absolutely top drawer. And she's very easy on the eye as well. No, I shouldn't say that, but she's a lovely woman, and I really like her videos. I think she does an excellent job, and she's great. Honestly, she's great, and she goes to watch football all over the place. So yeah, if you want to find out more about Bolton and whatnot, go and check her out, because she sometimes does vlogs for Bolton's games. So, and James Donop says Wenger should have gone in 2014, in my opinion, after he beat Hull in the cup final that year. Managers like Klopp and Guardiola were soon to be available at that time. Exactly, mate. And I know that Guardiola wanted to come to Arsenal, and I get the impression that Klopp was keen on the Arsenal job as well. And he could have handed over the reins really nicely, gone off, and, no one would have buttered an eyelid about it. No one would have had a bad word to say about him. He would have gone off as being a legend. But I just think now his legacy's been tarnished somewhat, let's say, unfortunately, which is quite sad, really. Taib says, Warren, if teams constantly sack managers, i.e. Chelsea, let's say, a serial trophy winner, then how do you expect them to find a better appointment than the one before? I think there's some truth in that. However, I do think Chelsea's model seems to work for them. Whether it would work for other teams or not, I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, I think there would come a point where managers would like think twice about going to clubs if they thought they were going to be out of the door very quickly. I know back in the 80s when Arsenal got rid of Don Howe, and despite what people say, he was sacked. I've heard a lot of people saying that he resigned, but that's not the way I remember it. I remember him being sacked, and Arsenal were trying to get Bobby Robson. They were trying to get Terry Venables, and neither of them would come because of the way that Don Howe had been treated. So, yeah, I think there's a lot to be said for what you've just said, Taib. So, yeah, thanks for that, mate. James Dunlop says, I didn't agree with the abuse Wenger got from some fans, but he wasn't immune from criticism like any other manager in football. Well, that's true, mate. I mean, you know, football management is it's a very emotive job, and it's a very difficult job because you've got so many people's hopes and dreams pinning on you, and your decisions at the end of the day are the ones where are going to determine, you know, how much those people's hopes and dreams are realised. So I can understand it, but I don't necessarily agree with it. I think like flying planes over stadiums and holding up banners in stadiums wasn't necessarily the best way to go. You know, and I remember seeing a video of him getting verbally abused by some supporters. I think it was in a railway station up in the north of England somewhere, and I just think that was wrong. And Taib says Wenger brought the abuse on himself when he should have left, but he stayed on. Maybe, but I don't think it's really necessary to go to that level. There's ways of voicing your displeasure without being abusive towards people, to be quite frank. I mean, I think the demonstrations were good. You know, the marches and, you know, the way that people in the end stopped going and there was loads of empty seats. And that was the thing that worked. That got him out because of all the empty seats in the stadium and whatnot. So yeah, Monsieur Wenger, in the end, contributed to his own downfall, really. And if he'd gone sooner, like James said in 2014, none of this would have happened. But you know, sometimes when you're pocketing that amount of money out of a salary, it's very difficult just to walk away from it. So yeah, that's my opinions on it. But it is a very emotive subject, even still now, like some, you know, 3-4 years later, however long it's been since he left. And it still divides opinion. It really does. So, anyway, so that's my first FA Cup video. I hope you enjoyed that. I will do another video in this series after the replay has been settled and before the second round tie between the winners of Bolton and Stockport against Rotherham. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. I'll be watching the game on Wednesday with interest to see what happens. And Taib says, Monsieur Fraud, laugh out loud. Yeah, I prefer not to speak. James Dunlop says, cheers, Warren. Great stream. See you soon, mate. Thank you very much, James. I really appreciate that. You have a great day, and everyone else have a great day as well. Please, if you're watching this on playback, put some comments about what you thought about my streams. Also put comments if you're a Bolton fan or a Stockport fan about your experiences watching either club in the FA Cup, or even other supporters about what your experiences have been of watching either Bolton or Stockport in the FA Cup, and just memories about the FA Cup in general, and about how special it is for you, or how not special it is. Maybe you disagree with me. Taib says bye, James, and James says see you, Taib. So yeah, that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and don't forget to please put a like on the video, and please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and please don't forget to share the video around. I'd really appreciate that. And go and check out Stumpeg's channel. She does, like I say, she does some really, really good content, and particularly with regards to, she does some vlogs for Bolton Wanderers as well. So yeah, that's great. Anyway, take care, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the show, and I'll look forward to seeing you all again soon. Thanks a lot. Take care for now. Bye.